There's Black Magic, another painfully overproduced Skylar Grey track with a glitzy beat, overwrought flows, and lovesick bars that are corny even by Eminem standards. She cheats and I catch her like the common cold. The similes on this thing are painful. We're an unlikely pair, like two different Nike Airs, and then he goes on to say that he and this woman are soulmates. Get it? Soul of a shoe. And of course, like most women he shares feelings for in his music on this track, there is a point where it's time to die. Yeah, there's just like a bunch of stabbing sound effects and knives and screaming. But somehow the sudden Imagine Dragons reference worked into a bar about pulling this woman's hair is more offensive to my taste. Some cunning lines here and there, one about how he still gets the bag even when he puts garbage out. At least he's self-aware about it. Plus, there's no shortage of corny bars, too. I'm about that capital like a proper noun. Every line's obscene. The pervertedest mind got the dirtiest rhymes stocked. That's why there's parental advising every time I drop. When will it end? Oh, and the bars on this one are so evil, so edgy, Eminem can't be tamed. But yet he literally shrunk at the fallout on that homophobic Tyler, the Creator bar how many years back now. Not that I'm encouraging Eminem to engage in more callous behavior on his records or anything, but I feel like given the past instances of him showing himself to, I don't know, care about others, be sympathetic, that sort of thing, it's a little inauthentic at this point for him to constantly paint himself as just being such a bad boy. Here we go. Haven't used all the tricks I have, so like my balls in my bag, get a little testy when I'm mad. Yeah, Eminem was really just like hunkering down on those balls and testes bars for a while. God, there's so many poo-poo and pee-pee bars all over this thing. Like that one bar where he's talking about peeing on someone's head like a Philly hat. A pee on the head. Somehow the record continues to go down from here creatively. The bar, some are like bees to flowers. Why? Because some people find me appalling, is actually one of the most appalling bars on this record. Drake does work some supremely questionable lines into this track at a few points though. 500 mil and I'll fall back in the 6. Finally give you guys the space you need to exist. Michael Jackson shit, but the palace is not for kids. Which is a very odd reference and line there, given like all the talk about your weird proximity to girls much younger than you. Bringing up the Michael Jackson thing like he has like serious allegations when you don't is odd. Then there's, and I got your girl on the second floor begging me to put it in, and it's not because of all the money that you wouldn't spend, and it's not because I set it up to try to get revenge, it's because you guys insecure and you ain't made men. It's been kind of a turnoff for me on past projects. Like, if you're gonna be that insecure, I mean, just be open about it and just own it and just make music about it, rather than swinging back and forth violently between just TMI, exposing a little bit too much, and then sort of overcompensating for it. I think on If You're Reading This, Drake and You Ain't Made Men, which again, funny, because when I think of openly and obviously insecure rappers, Drake is in my top 3. Also in this very subpar collection of tracks are some amazing lyrical Drake-isms, like on the track Paris Morton Music. Having lunch and debating Ferrari prices, 23 and going through a midlife crisis. But trust me, I still deliver like a midwife. I still deliver like a midwife. That is a Drake line if I have ever heard one. I would actually call it quintessential Drake, right from the first track, Survival. And of course, Drake tops this with bars that simultaneously portray him as mega successful, but also very sad. Especially with bars like "My Mount Rushmore is me with 4 different expressions," which is so hilariously egotistical, it makes Kanye West seem well-adjusted. So little goes on in this song lyrically and instrumentally. Really the only defining factor of this track is that Drake is trying to sound really cold and really tough, which after the way you just kind of slithered out of that beef with Pusha T, I don't understand why you would ever try to act tough ever again. I mean, the closing track on the first disc has Drake saying, "Too many Walt Disney characters, mouses and goofs. I mean, you know I love a challenge, but challenged by who? Challenged by who? Not Pusha T, apparently. No. No thank you. Don't act like you're taking all comers when you're not. Especially with bars like, I would rather lose my leg than lose their respect, but that'll never happen the way I'm watching my step. Please, just give me some catchy songs, like maybe a few Marvin's Rooms here and there, and let's just call it a day. Simile check, I'm just trolling you pussies, but I'm like a stroller, because you'll see just how I roll if you push me. You know, if you want to portray yourself as tough, step one, don't liken yourself to a thing that you push babies around in, as Kanye mixes artsy and annoying in a way that only he can. The song Father Stretch My Hands, the production here sounds kind of demo-ish with the really stiff hi-hats, the muddy bass, the muddy drums, the auto-tune seems completely out of whack. Not only that, but once Kanye eventually pops into the track, he starts singing about fucking a model who just bleached her asshole, and how if he gets the bleach on his shirt, he's gonna feel like an asshole. Or on the song Facts, which I'm surprised it actually made it onto this track. Actually not that good of a song, however I like this revised version a little bit more, but still the lyrics are borderline delusional, and I mean only kids and wannabe socialites care about a kimoji. On the song Highlights, the series of lines about wishing his dick had like a GoPro or GoPro abilities, yeah, that was awful. The second half of 30 Hours really could have been cut entirely. I'm not really sure what the point of this meandering moment was. Sure, Kanye says that, oh, some of his favorite albums do stuff like this. Yeah. Also, that Yeezy Slides line was pretty funny. He pretty much makes the whole song, because for the most part, Quavo's lyrical contributions to this track are boring and borderline trash, especially when he just devolves into skirt, 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 skirt. I'm sure there were a few people out there thinking, Quavo, he wouldn't just half-ass his own album. He wouldn't just half-ass his own debut, but we have a standout with I'm winning in different avenues, trippy my revenue, don't see me ever lose, and I jump hurdles like kangaroos. The kangaroos, they are jumping, I suppose. However, this is not nearly as attention-grabbing as the bar on Killa Killa where he says, taller than the maca when I gotta stack it up. Now she's sounding like Chewbacca when she back it up. Hi everyone, Death Note here, like on the Improviser's Anthem, where Bus Driver seems to take great pride in the idea that he's just kind of winging it. Despite the opening bars being, met this girl named Susie Q, I said, how do you do? I'm driver, I'm cruising through, I'm difficult like a Rubik's Cube, let's find something new to do. This is like Joyner Lucas levels of corny, which given the album cover here, and given the title of the album, which is like Kids on Drugs or King Overdose, you would think that this track specifically would be some kind of grand statement on substance abuse and addiction. But some of the first bars he hits audiences with on this track is just him complaining about people wanting him to have more features on his records, which just kind of comes off as bitter at the end of the day. It's a kind of creepy track when you get to the core of it. It's sort of obsessive. Like that weird little, I'll keep this one to myself line in the hook is, I don't know, it kind of makes the hairs on my neck stand up. Simile check though, but I'm up like your feet in a recliner, and I think I'm about to go out on a limb like a tree climber. Not only a weird place to go with the rest of the verse in context still, but what an oddly redundant simile, even with the reference to feet and legs. Going out on a limb like a tree climber? I mean, when people think of going out on a limb, a tree is typically in mind. No need to remind us of climbing a tree in the process of saying you're going out on a limb. Oh, look at me, I'm gonna bring you this pepperoni pie like I'm a pizza delivery guy. More compelling than the moments on this record when Logic is trying to take on bigger topics and all he has to offer are just really middle-of-the-road observations and lyrical filler. Man, I swear to God, I wish I was living in Bel Air. Fuck Medicaid, I just want to get paid. with a couple bitches in the crib getting, like, he's not really saying anything of any substance, and yet he comes through with this air of like, this is a really meaningful record, this is a really important record, I'm saying so much shit on this album, hey motherfucker, I'm real as shit, I say all this shit. At the end of the day, it just seems like Logic wants us to stop killing each other. Which, how Ross continues to ignore this, but also spits one of the realest lines that he's ever recorded in his entire career on this album, I don't know. And here it is: never was a gangster, I just wanted in. No longer could I deny that I wanted a Benz. There are other moments on this album where Rick Ross isn't really lying or anything, but because it's Rick Ross, what he's saying, what comes out of his mouth, is just especially... An example would be this one line where he's rapping about a pretty chick who resembles Stacey Dash, who he's getting with, but he says in the next line that if it was her, she'd have to kiss my feet and lick my ass. You know, I get it, the insult, the disrespect, but the idea of Rick Ross's ass getting licked gives me nightmares. Or the intro on the song Lamborghini Doors, where he's talking about going to prison to visit Meek Mill, and all the prisoners, they're banging on the glass and they're kicking the doors, and they say he's not allowed in, I guess because everybody's going crazy. But then 2 weeks later, he's got access. Maybe because everybody's calmed down, nobody's going at him, and he seems to kind of imply that that's because Meek Mill is now kind of running the place right now because he's wearing yellow designer shoes, and maybe everybody's just kind of like chilled out, listening to him rap. Now this story, I'm not totally sure if it's true, but Rick Ross seems to overlook that maybe the prisoners were angry with his appearance because he used to be a CO.